The Return of Finnish Heritage Grains by Annika Michelson, Häme University of Applied Sciences, Finland. On the photo to the left you can see a traditional seed granary from Finland. This used to be one or several depending on how big the farm was. Inside the granary it could look like this in 1950s. You could see wooden trunks with the lids on where seeds were storage, and then grain for usage was later on storage in wooden boxes, also with a lid on so you could close down. In 1979, the Nordic Gene Bank was established. It was a common gene bank for all the Nordic countries. And Finland decided at that point that they will make collections in Finland at farms in order to preserve different land races of grains. And these were done then in 1979, 1980, 81, 82, and 83, and later on also, but then it was quite, occasionally done. But here in the beginning it was systematical. And there are two main persons who did these collections, one of which is Matti Erkamo, that you can see here on these both articles here. So there was a multiple approach how to collect them. One was writing articles in newspapers, but the other approach was contacting then the local municipalities. They had a person in charge of agriculture issues, and he then recommended who had or could have such old grains and would be willing to give them to the gene bank. In this way, a lot of Finnish heritage grains or land races were collected and ended up in the gene bank. Not all the Nordic countries collected in the same way as Finland. Sweden did also collect, but as you can see, the Danish and Norwegian amounts of land races in the Nordic Gene Bank, Nordgen, is much smaller. So if we talk about land races and we talk about Nordgen Gene Bank, then Finland has more than half of the land races are then from Finland. In 2010s, there was a lot of discussions that there are not sorts suitable to cultivate organically in Finland, and at some point I then got a little bit tired of this talk, because talk and nobody was doing something. So I decided I will start then to order home the old land races and have a look at them, and let's see if there would be something suitable for organic farming among them. And as there was several hundreds of land races in the gene bank from Finland, then there was like a good starting point to do this. In 2017, I started to order home them, and I always made sure that I had the farmer or the person who would start with the multiplication before I ordered home something. So everything I ordered home, it had already a name who will take care of this. It came to our institution from the gene bank, and I opened up the bags and split them in half and sent it out to the multipliers. Not all of them were farmers. Especially in the beginning, there was a lot of voluntary people who just had a garden. A lot of persons were also from the Finnish seed saver organization, Maatiainen, so they were members of that organization. And when we had enough of the multiplied, then we took some of them back and had field trials at our school. And we have had then, this is now the second project we are running, so we had before had then also projects, and we have been able to continue this work also in those years that there hasn't been any projects. When the amount gets big enough, then we need really the farmers. So today, more than half of the people working in the network are farmers, and they are mainly organic farmers. There are some couple, 2-3 that not are organic farmers that also are involved. And again, when we get big enough, we try then to have the millers ready and the bakers also. We have been doing cooperation with bakers in doing sourdough trials, for example. And in the end, we would like to have these new products out on the market for the consumer. And yeah, the paper was filled up, and I forgot the consumers, so they are a small group here behind the chimney. So yeah, those are actually the main people and the most important people, of course, our consumers. Here is just a photo on how the seed bags looks like when you order them from the Nord Gene Bank home, and you get then a list of what you have been ordering. A little bit about the ordering, a few words. Yeah, I kind of made a project. So as I have been giving out the seeds to a third party, they are participating in my research project, and I have my research ongoing then on these, yeah, more than 100 places in Finland. Here you can see a map on where the propagation network is located. So it's located in many different geographical spots. I have also one spot in Sweden that is included in our network, and yeah, the color is the orange colored are not farmers, and the red ones are farmers. I like very much this idea about the decentralized network, and I think that it reduces this climate risk and increase the security of maintenance in the country. And I hope that it will result out in more local cooperation and then also new local products developed. So the aim of this work is not to get all these sorts at one spot somewhere. So I try to have as little as possible of seeds in my storage as at our university. And if somebody stops cultivating, then I try to find somebody close to that farm, or then I have this farmer to send directly the seeds to the new person who will take care of it. So I really try not to have it sent or fetch it to come back to our university. So a few photos on how it looks in the beginning. Many of them started with it in this kind of boxes in the garden, as the amount was very small in the start. We do also have a huge problem with birds and wild animals. And as it was so valuable, these grains, we got such a small amount from the gene bank, and when we started to reproduce it, then we had to protect it against wild animals. In the north, it may be reindeer. In the south, deer. All over Finland, it may be elks, and of course rabbits, and then different kinds of birds who really likes to eat heritage grains. They really prefer it. And here's another picture where it's totally covered with the net, so that also not birds can eat it. The first year harvest may look like this. And everything is done by hand in the beginning, and we try to use as much as possible all traditional methods, but we have also been trying out different harvesting methods for small batches. We have had some problems also with seed viability. So most of our batches had been were actually the original stuff. So collected in 79, 80, 81 or 82 or 83. So not many of them had been reproduced meanwhile in the gene bank in southern Sweden. For example, this one, it's just called wheat from all region, was propagated in central Savo, and the first year it looked really bad, but then from year to year it has been improving and looks more healthy again. It's important not to give up. So even if it looks bad, then don't give up and try to cultivate it at least for 4 years to give it the chance to accumulate or to get used to this new growing location that it has been given. If we take a look at Finnish oats, the landrace and old sorts, so I deal only with old sorts, and we have also made new definitions for landraces, and the sorts we are calculating with the old traditional methods of crossing. So everything that was crossed like in old days can be a part of the heritage grain project. But those who are like treated with, for example, with Röntgen radiation, so those we have not included. And in this, you can see there are white and yellow and black and brown and naked oats. Vegana stegosa we will also have a little bit a look on soon. And you can see then the amount here in couple, what we have in the propagation for the time being. The last figure here is what still would be possible to take into the propagation network, but it's like not yet. There are 3 landraces still that I would like to start to propagate, and then there are 10 other possible. They are cross oats, or some of them are, they have such a breeding history that it could be considered that they could be suitable for these heritage oat purposes that we are working for. So a few comments, black or brown. There are different, the color of grain is always measured of the grain, so not of the plant itself or not of the straw. For example, a black oat can have a yellow straw, and a black oat can also have a kind of white pale straw. So it's always to look at the grains. And you can see here 2 so-called black oats, Savitaipale, landrace and Osmo on old sort. And you can see that Savitaipale, it's much more black than, for example, Osmo is. So I would even perhaps call Osmo a brown one and not a black one. And it was distinguished during the last century between black and brown oats. Up in the corner is Tuotto, and this is in old literature written to be a brown oat. So you can see the spectrum in the color in these browns is really huge. And I have Osmo and Savitaipale are I just call now black oats, and Tuotto I have then separately as a brown one because it was in literature classified as a brown one. But maybe also Osmo should be as a brown one. First, when we have investigated the nutrient content and the content of antioxidants, we could perhaps see some kind of differences that maybe is like due to the color. But just now I have them in one group. I want also here to tell you to be very careful with using this black oat and making search on internet concerning black oat, because worldwide Avena strigosa is called black oat. But in Finland, when we say black oat, we always mean Avena sativa, variation brunea or variation nigra. And for example, Avena strigosa is used in Brazil, in Sri Lanka, maybe also in Southern Europe and in Africa as fodder. But that's not Avena sativa. So if you want to Google on black oat, then remember then to put Avena sativa if that's what you are going after. Let's have a small talk about the straw. And I took this photo. This is actually an Estonian oat. It's an early oat named Kehra early from 1928, even if it was started to make research or develop this sort already in the early 20th century. But I just wanted to show you how many different types of paniculars or heads of the oats there are. And this one in the middle, it was kind of considered to be the optimal. This is what all the sorts that were breeded, they were focusing to have such a type of head of the oat. It was kind of ideal, as was also the white ones. So the black and the browns and the yellows even, they were not really considered. So when breeding, when we talk about breeding and all sorts, most of them are white oats and most of them have this type of panicular. Even so, in the old sorts, we find these different types of heads, as you can see also in Kehravara, and there are different types. Have a look on another one, Nopsa. It's the second oldest Finnish oat sort. It was actually a selection made already in 1909 from Likovo oat and a North Swedish Norrbotten landrace oat crossing. Nopsa, it means just fast, and it is still growing very fast, and it's early maturing still. It has really a large diversity in the type of paniculars, as you can see here on this picture. We don't know what meaning has these different structures, but it may be that this is something which is good for resilience and something about how it's quickly it is drying, for example, in bad climate. Or it may be that the wind is taking the head in a different way in these different types. And the different types, it's just how nature works. Nature works with structures. Now I'm not so good in English, so I just call this type of head panicular oat. I'm not sure if this is how it should be named in English. Perhaps there is a specific word for this type of oat. We have one old landrace, the one Arrakoski to the right, that all of the oat heads are having their grains going into one direction. But also in Nopsa and Tuotto, which both are old sorts, I have found also this type of head type in them, as also in Kehra as well, the Estonian old sort. Arrakoski was preserved not in the gene bank, but on the field, due to that these florists that make flower bouquets, they liked this. It was considered very beautiful. So there was some farmers who kept these and were growing them and selling them to flower shops. Black oats is considered to be fodder for horses. And the black oats in Finland, they have very little been made research on them, nearly nothing. And we really know very little about them. And some of them have so small grains. You can see here they are like 2 millimeters wide, many of these on this picture. And I don't know, we're thinking that they have just really bad viability, so they are very slow growing, but maybe we have not found the right place for these where they were originally growing, and maybe they are just suited for some very specific growing conditions that we haven't found. So this one is as very typical. Many of our land races, they are just named local. So this is kind of local black oat. And I don't know, should I put it in southern Finland to grow or up in the north, 1,000 kilometers northward. So we just have to try it out. This is sisu. It's an old sort from 1953, and this farmer here, Sauli, he wanted to start to grow it because his father used to grow this for seeds in 1960s. And this sisu, it's an old sort, and it was of so good growing. It was so well growing that this has been nearly used in all oats after 50s or after 53 that has been breeded. Then sisu has been apparent to many oats after that, after this. No, this sisu that you see here in the field, it also survived growing on on an organic farm in Finland. And Sauli, he got it from these farmers when they were retiring. Then they asked if somebody would like to continue to grow this sisu. And now Sauli have an idea that he could also start to produce seeds of sisu. Savitaipale black oats is an other oat that never was in the gene bank. It survived in its own original growing location in Karelia, in southern Karelia, in Finland, and it was preserved and cultivated by hand. So it was preserved by purpose. So the person who has been growing it has been growing it to preserve it, and they only used it for own use. This black oat is really a gem. It's early maturing, it's very healthy, and it has a strong viability as well. I have been developing something I call adaptability measure, and I will now tell you how I did it. So the length between the flag leaf, it's the leaf that is highest up on any cereal. And where the leaf is starting, there is a kind of a small dot. And from this dot, I measured up to the head, where the head starts. So for wheat and oats, barley, it goes there. And for oats, it is where this first smaller side branch goes out. And I measured about 50 to 100 different plants, and I calculated the difference in the length between the shortest and the longest in this distance. And I had this idea that this could be a sign of the grain genetic diversity, its convertibility and adaptability to climate change. And when you compare this adaptability measure to the grain straw length and the yield, you will get a hint on what to sow on own fields, depending on what kind of problem you have there. Is it something with the soil? Is it weeds? Yeah, cultivation, location, or microclimate may also affect uh, these. So I wanted to have a kind of a tool, an easy tool to tell the farmers what they should grow in their farm. And this was, I came up with this because farmers, they have been constantly calling me, and they said they would like to grow some heritage grains. And then I always started to ask them, okay, where in Finland are you? What kind of soil do you have? Who are you going to sell it for? For what use do you need it? And so on. So I asked also, yeah, is it compacted? How long has it been in organic? Is it inorganic or conventional? Are there compaction problems? Are there problems with too much water? So a bunch of questions. And I was thinking that with this adaptability measure, I could very quickly find what would be suitable for the farmers. The difference in this between the flag leaf and the head, you can see also in old art, and I noted it first in old art, on old photos, but also on old paintings. You can see that there is a huge difference between those that are the shortest and those that are the longest within one field. It's very clearly possible to see this in art and on old photos. So here I have now organized them in a yellow line. Those who have only 5 centimeters, you see it's Ryhti and Matti to the left with 9 centimeters, a difference between the highest and the lowest. So the more they are all the same, the more narrow genetically I assume the population is. And then on the to the right, you can see that there are Simo, for example, which have 27 centimeters in difference between the one who have the shortest and longest of the straw, this upper part of the straw. Then I have put here the length of the straw and also the yield. I don't have yield for all of them, as some of them are still so small amount and we haven't done that much work with them yet. In this table, you can see from several years. So I have from different places, they're not so different. Let's say it's only like 20 kilometers in between, but different fields and different soil types and different years. So every year I add more statistics, more data into the same graphics. Because for farmers, it's important to have long-term data. 1 year in a very good place doesn't say so much because the farmers usually doesn't have that very good soil types as usually are in research institutes fields. Let's say you have now a lot of weeds in your field, but otherwise it's okay. It has nutrients and it will give a good yield otherwise. So you just want something that is longer than the modern. So Matti is now the modern, and you can see it has really a high yield. Matti, okay, you could then take this one here. It is pretty much longer, but maybe you don't want to have that long one. Then you could go on. Jokikylä seems very good. It's longer, a little bit longer than this Matti, and its yield is pretty high, but not as high as Matti as its best. Of course, you could choose also to have something that is even more longer, like Tammi. It's on all sort. It's pretty much longer than the modern one, but the yield have been very good at Tammi, and it has really good and high number of differences also. If you have a really bad field now, let's say it's quite of sandy, and you have all kind of bunch of problems there, and you don't know will it be a wet or a very sunny and dry summer, then it's better to choose something here from the middle or from this highest up end, where you can see that there is a big difference in the different straws. In September 2025, we have started a new project, and the name of the project is Sweet Oat, Viability from Heritage Grains. And we have a homepage with all our sorts. It's Viljalari. And you can also order a newsletter for our project, and it doesn't come so often. I think I'm going to write it some 3-4 times a year and send it out via electronic post if you want to follow the Finnish propagation network of heritage grains.